In this lesson, you will learn what a flowchart is, how to use it in your programming, and how the steps in your flowchart convert into code for Scratch. Pause the video here and think about how important you feel it is to use flowcharting in your programming. Rate it using a scale of 1 through 5, with 5 being very important. Why did you rate it that way? A flowchart is a diagram that gives an algorithm or step-by-step instructions on how to complete a task. On this slide, we have an algorithm or step-by-step instructions for how to make Scratchcat move 10 steps when the flag is clicked. In the center of the screen is the flowchart for that algorithm. The oval shape shows the start of the events. The blue rectangles show actions that will happen. The arrows connect the actions and show the order in which the actions will occur. On the right side of the screen is the algorithm that has been converted into Scratch code. You may be thinking, why does this matter to me? Why should I use a flowchart when programming? Well, a flowchart is similar to a recipe. They both provide a list of instructions that, if followed in the correct order, will create something. Your flowchart is like your recipe to complete the challenge in Scratch. If the steps from your flowchart are written into code, the challenge should work. Right now, what we are programming is not very complicated or complex, but as you continue to build upon this basic knowledge, you will be asked to program for challenges that will have many steps. You want to get into the habit of using flowcharts now so that you have a tool to help you break more complex challenges into their smaller parts, making it easier for you to program. Pause the video here and let's try flowcharting. First, watch the handstand walk video to determine the steps that are needed to complete a walking handstand. Watch the video as many times as needed. Then go to your Google Slides to fill out the flowchart with the steps needed. Here are the steps needed to complete a walking handstand. How does this flowchart vary from yours? Are all the steps necessary for a walking handstand listed on this flowchart? How about on your flowchart? Usually when students begin to use flowchart, they realize that they aren't listing every step needed to complete the task. Remember, the computer will only do what you tell it to do. Taking the time to break a task or challenge down into all of its steps before you program will make it much easier for you to get the results you want. Remember that the algorithm in your flowchart can be converted to code when you program. Take a look at the section of code on the left side of the screen. What portion of the flowchart do you think the code covers? Pause the video here and think about your answer. This code is covered by the section of the flowchart seen on the left. Start corresponds with when green flag clicked. Stand corresponds to go to X0 and Y0 and point in direction 90 or the initial conditions. Place hands in front of you, bend forward, place legs slightly behind you, raise right leg, and kick left leg up so that body has rotated 180 degrees. All correlate with the repeat 4 times, turn 45 degrees, and wait 0.1 seconds. Remember that the lady has to go from standing on her feet to standing on her hands. She has to turn her body in order to do this. If we were programming a sprite to do a walking handstand, this section of code will allow it to get into the handstand. We have not included the code for the actual walking on the hands here. Flowcharting can help you think about what you will need before you actually begin programming. For example, look at the rectangle highlighted in yellow. I have already noticed that I will need to use a repeat block when programming this walking handstand. I might not have been able to catch that if I had just got on the computer and randomly tried different blocks. Making an algorithm within a flowchart helps me think in a logical and sequential manner, more like a computer. Also, when programming, you will run into plenty of other challenges that you won't see coming. Flowcharting will help you minimize some of the challenges you will face. Reflect on your learning. Did you learn what a flowchart is, how to use one, and how what's in the flowchart can be converted to code? If not, review any sections you are not sure of. Now, think about your answer to the question about how important you feel it is to use flowcharts in your programming. How has your initial understanding of flowcharts changed? Explain. Answer this question in your Google Slides and submit the assignment on Canvas when finished. Then move to the next page.